You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous. Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Born Wild podcast. We're your hosts, Sophia
and Aly.
And we have a birth story for you today. But first, let's just do a quick check-in. Aly, do you have anything to check in about?
Not really. Life's been good. Coming off of an awesome birth with you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, we want to do a podcast episode on waiting to breathe. That's just been like actually you're gonna hear a little bit of that,
right?
Waiting to breathe in this birth story. But that's been like this theme that has been coming up over and over again, is waiting for the baby to take their first breath. How long is too long? Signs to look for that the baby's transitioning, doing good, and just like
waiting.
How everyone just wants the baby to breathe and cry, so bad. And yeah. So yeah, we just had a birth where the baby took 12 minutes to take their first breath and was totally fine, and we were not rushing her. Yeah, so let's.
How are you, Sophia?
I cried this morning because I'm mad at my husband, but I'm also about to bleed, so I recognize that that's a piece. But I was like, you are being really self-centering, and we need to talk tonight. And he's like, I agree. I was like, okay, thank you.
I can set it down now.
Okay, I will put that on pause. Thank you for agreeing. Yeah, so that's all. But let's hand it over to April to introduce herself, her family, and then we'll dive into your birth story. Welcome, April.
Hi.
Hi.
Who
are you?
Okay. I'm April Shannon. I'm a hairstylist in Petaluma. And we're here to talk about my birth story.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was actually just reflecting on how we never, if my memory's right, we never met in person. You just like hired me on the phone because your friend said I was cool.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, let's talk. All right, let's do this. I was like,
there was a lot more referrals than just that, but I guess like Desiree's clients, she had like 10 of them or something that like referred you. So I was like, wow, that's a good amount of people. And I got a good vibe on the phone and stuff too. So I was feeling confident. So where do we start?
Where's your journey begin for you?
Well, I started like getting excited about kids around like 30. But I didn't necessarily like want one then, but I don't know, just I feel like hormonally each year I wanted them more and more. So by the time I hit 33, it was kind of perfect. Ruby wasn't planned, but we're excited she's here.
A lot of moms can relate to that, the surprise baby.
Yeah, like, well, when I was 30, I was like, oh, babies are cute. And 31, I was like, I want one. And 32 was like, I fucking need one. And 30 was like, I really want one, but I want us to be more financially stable. And then she came anyway. So I was like, well, here we go.
Yeah. All right. So you find yourself pregnant, and what then? How was your first trimester?
It was pretty good, actually. I did have like nausea and stuff, but it wasn't like debilitating. And I really love the Wish Gardens line of tinctures. I used all of those like religiously throughout the pregnancy and postpartum. Like the Calmatum was like really great. I just like drank it in my water like all day long. And Yeah, I was oh, I have a funny story of how I told Josh I was pregnant. Okay, so I was a little when I found so I was my period was 2 days late and I just knew, but I got a test and it was like faulty at 3 days, and then at 5 days I got a more expensive test. And um after I bought the test, I went to the market and I like hesitated buying a bottle of wine, which has never happened before. Like I put it in the cart and was like, and then put it back. And I was like, wait, what am I doing? Like this. So I put it back in the cart and I bought the wine, and I didn't end up drinking it till um like postpartum. But so I went home and took the test, and it said I was pregnant. And so I was like really excited but nervous to tell Josh because I knew he'd be a little bit stressed, financially. And so I was just like texting my friends and calling my best friends. I'm like, do I tell him? When do I tell him? How do I tell him? And I just couldn't keep it in. He was like busy throughout the day. And about 5 hours later, I just like barged into him being on the toilet. And I was like, so, my period's late. And he was like, yeah. I was like, I'm pregnant. So it was not in the slightest bit romantic at all. But
I kind of
um,
wish now that Ruby had been born on the toilet, just to complete the cycle,
yeah, that would have been fitting. um,
That's
so
funny.
yeah, he was we laugh about that now, but it wasn't like a fantasized pregnancy, so I was like, oh, I didn't like feel the urge to like decorate cupcakes and stuff. Um, but yeah, that's pretty funny. So then back to the birth, I mean the pregnancy, like I actually had a pretty good time. I ran a half marathon at 12 weeks,
Whoa.
went to a bachelorette at 13 weeks. And I did a lot of hiking, and I slowly found out, like 5 miles is too much. And, so I was just like listening to my body along the way. Um, and yeah, it was nice to finally show more in like the second trimester and stuff like that. And then the third trimester, I was pretty done. I think I went to Hawaii in the late like 28 weeks or something, and realized that was like not a good idea. My body just like swelled up a lot, and I had to buy a size 10 sandal when normally I'm like an 8. So that was fun and exhausting. And then I think around like
Because at what point did you start considering home birth?
I always wanted, I mean, yeah, I've always wanted a home birth. I've always been on the more
in
natural.
the middle of your second trimester.
Yeah, I just kind of lagged on like finding one. I had been doing research and stuff like that, but I knew before I even got pregnant that I wanted to do a home birth. That was just more my style and what I believe in and stuff like that.
So were you seeing an OB, or were you just not seeing anyone? What were you doing before you decided to join the care?
I saw an OB for the first few weeks, yeah. I didn't know what to do actually. Like when I got pregnant, I called my best friend. I was like, what do I do now? I don't know anything. And and she was like, oh, you'll figure it all out. And it's true, you just take each day as it comes and read books and you get information and figure it all out. So I would go to the OB, but I was looking for a midwife pretty quickly and trying to figure out insurances and all the stuff.
Yeah. All right. So you went to Hawaii, and that was a bad idea.
Yeah, and then what happened after that? Then I stopped working around October. But basically just the last trimester was really tough for me. I just felt like really uncomfortable and I couldn't sleep. I had really bad acid reflux. And I didn't really want to do all of the like stretches and the workouts and that kind of stuff, which is really not like me. It just all came down to just being like super uncomfortable. And then I kind of like got a little in my head because I thought Ruby was going to come early. I just felt it. And then Josh came early and I came early, and I kind of just convinced myself like she was for sure coming early. And so around like 38 weeks, I got pretty anxious, and around 39 when she didn't come, I was a little, I don't know, I guess I just realized like I don't have control over this, and that I needed to surrender, and that like she was going to come when she was ready.
And you were due
And
your Christmas. Was there any feelings around like not wanting the baby to come around Christmas? Because I know that can be a thing for some moms where they're like have preferences, I hopefully the baby doesn't come this day.
yeah, well, that was a part of it too, because I was like, oh, I want her to be a Sagittarius, so I wanted her to come before the 21st. And then I ideally didn't really want her on Christmas, just because it's just a lot around the holidays, and my birthday is like in January. Josh's is in November, and it's just like a lot. But I feel like the week of, I had a feeling she was gonna come on Christmas, and my best friend Kai was saying that too. And then Christmas Eve I had back contractions all day long, and then at 10:30 p.m. I had like one contraction, and I just looked at Josh and I was like, she's gonna come on Christmas. And we were just laughing about it, but I was like, that's her own damn fault if she wants to share a holiday with her. So but we've talked about how to celebrate it, like half birthdays maybe. Or I've heard people that have birthdays on Christmas, they celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day is the birthday celebration. So we're thinking about that. But yeah, so what else?
So how did early labor unfold for you? What did that look like?
So after the first contraction, I went pee, and then I saw that my mucus plug broke. So then I went to take a bath. And I was texting my friends in a group chat, and they're like, "Oh my God, like call your midwife." And I was like, "No, it's just, I know it's gonna be a long while before, but they were kind of like freaking out because right away my contractions were 5 minutes apart. So I was in the bath for about like 45 minutes, and then I called you, Sophia, at an hour later, so around like 11:30. And you told me, because my contractions were 30 seconds long, 5 minutes apart, and you told me you're looking for a minute and a half long, 5 minutes apart, and
Yeah, like at least a minute.
Okay, yeah. And to just kind of relax, eat, try to get some sleep, and kind of hydrate and prepare for labor. So I kind of just from like 11:30 to 6 a.m. just labored in the nursery by myself with my two cats. Josh
How were
was
those sensations for you? Did they feel like manageable at the time? Like where was your mindset?
yeah, they were totally manageable. I always, like, I mean, the last 14 years I've had like debilitating cramps like the first 2 days of my period, where I'm just doing all the things and still, it's like a 12 out of 10 pain kind of thing. So this was super manageable for me. And it was just a cramp basically. Not my worst cramp, but definitely a cramp where I couldn't sleep. Like, I was texting my friend, like, she said to sleep. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be sleeping. So I brought my yoga ball into the room and was just laboring on the bed, on the floor, on the yoga ball, but in different positions. But it was super, bearable. But when it got unbearable was, kind of around 6. It just like picked up a bit, 6 a.m. It picked up a bit, and that's when I called you, and they were my contractions were 1 minute 10 long, 5 minutes apart still. And so you were like, okay, we're gonna head over. And then you guys came at 7. And that was perfect timing because that's when they picked up to like not unbearable, but it was like a next level. So I was stoked you guys were there. It was kind of perfect timing.
And if nobody caught on, this was Christmas morning. So it was funny, actually, my kids, because you called me like maybe midnight or something, and then my kids came in at 2 in the morning and they were like, Merry Christmas. And we were like, no, go to bed. But then I knew you were warming up. So part of me was like, maybe it is Merry Christmas. Maybe we should just do this now. But I was like, no, go to bed. And then after you called, I woke them up. I was like, let's just blitz this, like open presents as fast as possible. And then mommy has to leave. So that's what we did. You were like, okay, I think it's time. And I was like, okay, you guys got 10 minutes to open presents. Go. And yeah, so it was perfect timing. And then we headed over.
Oh, well, thank them for rushing through Christmas for me.
It was their pleasure. I'm usually like trying to get them to slow down and appreciate each one. I was like, tear through everything. They were like,
yeah, having a field day.
Yeah, they loved it. Yeah. So then we got there and things were a little more intense for you.
Yeah. And Josh was getting the tub set up and you guys were setting stuff up, and Aly was helping me labor in different places of the house, like the couch and the bed, in the nursery, the toilet. I was surprised about the throwing up though. I didn't know that was like a thing, and I hate throwing up, so that kind of shook me a little bit. But it wasn't so bad. I guess throwing up dilates you, right? I think you told me that.
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't know if that's actually true, but people have always said that. I haven't seen like a study where they were like, check her. Okay, she puked. Check her again. Like, I don't know.
I mean, your abdominals are definitely squeezing even more.
I mean, it makes
vomiting,
sense.
so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't seen a study on it, but that's if it,
And there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
In your digestive system and
Yeah.
stomach, like everything's kind of.
And I think they have done studies where it's like if this is loose and relaxed, that the cervix is like connected, like they're synchronized. They're doing the same thing.
Yes, the sphincters.
The sphincters. Yes. So yeah, and if it's not true, we'll just continue saying it because it makes people feel better.
It has a cause. Yeah. A good thing.
It's healthy.
I was like, oh, we're doing things. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember asking me to check you, like your dilation and what was like going through your head at that point?
Did I ask you that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. I was like, clearly to us, it's very clear you're progressing, and it can be uncomfortable, you risk infection. We don't find it to be super helpful unless you're trying to decide if you're like going in or not, and so we didn't do it. You declined it after that, but I was just curious if you remembered asking, because a lot of times when people are asking these things, they don't necessarily really want it. They're just like trying to shift something, trying to like feel like something's changing or grasp any sort of like, where am I in on the spectrum, but not that they actually really want that. They just want some validation that like things are happening.
Yeah, I definitely remember asking you for ibuprofen and an epidural.
We were like, oh, that's wrong.
Like, ibuprofen's not gonna do anything.
was just like, anything, I'll take anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing. I was like pretty frustrated at that point. Because I felt like the birth had gone by like really fast actually, and I had no recollection of time really. But around like I now know like around 10 a.m. is when I got in like the hot tub, but yeah, the
It is
tub.
Or
The birthing tub. Around 10 I got in there, and that was like perfect because I was really ready for like a shift off of the toilet where that was more comfortable for me for the time. But it was really nice to be in like the warm water. But after it was like a 1 o'clock, I think, that I was really just feeling like depleted and exhausted and like just weak. And during the contractions, I remember just like saying like help me, and you guys were doing like everything you could. It was like, massaging me, rubbing me, helping me breathe, like all the things, and hydrating me. But I just was like, I didn't feel her shift, like moving down any for a while there. And I kind of was just getting old, like tired of the same two positions that I was doing in the tub or something. And I just remember like during a couple of contractions, it was more than a couple, I would like asked you for an epidural and the ibuprofen. And I was laughing because you were like, well, ask me that when you're not in a contraction. And I never did, but we did seriously talk about it, and you told me that at this point, like, I don't, like it would, because I was thinking like, oh, if we go to the hospital, like it's 20 minutes away, I'm gonna get an epidural in 25 minutes, like thinking it's gonna be like super quick, because that's just my mind is like best case scenario kind of thing. And you explained to me that it would be like hours realistically.
Yeah, because for anyone
So
listening, one, you have to get there. Two, they ask you all the questions and check you in, and they, will draw your blood. They want to get bags of fluid in you because epidurals will lower your blood pressure. So they, one, won't give you an epidural unless they know your platelets are okay. So they want to check your blood for platelet count. And then they want to get 2 bags of fluid in you so that when your blood pressure goes down, that balances it out and you don't like,
Mm-hmm. And
feel
they
the
want to
effects.
listen to the baby too.
And they want to monitor the baby, and it just like the whole process takes a while, to get you ready for that point when you have the epidural. So I always just like to let people know, like, this isn't going to be a fast, quick thing. And obviously we can go if that's what you want, but just so you know what to expect and you're not like, wait, why aren't we done
And
yet?
you could have your baby before
By the
that
time we
happens.
right. Yeah, no, I was happy that you knew too that I didn't really want that, experience, and that it was kind of just like the pain talking. So
Well, that, and just like almost like letting people know, like, either you're just letting someone know, like, this is really hard, I'm like reaching my max, or like what we're doing right now isn't working, we need to shift it up, either it's positional or something needs to shift. Try something different.
Yeah. And if those thoughts are going through your mind, I think it's important to voice them,
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of get it out and then be able to move past it.
Yeah.
So then I remember kind of wanting to get out of the tub for a minute there, and you advised me on a different, and because I was talking about how I couldn't, like, she wasn't like moving down, so you had me do this like side. I was like straddling the side of the tub, like laying parallel next to it, and I did two contractions on each side, and that really helped her move down. I felt her move down, and then like shortly after that, my water broke, and then I could feel like a shift in like energy, and I felt just like this rush of like adrenaline and like primal instincts, and you know, it was like push time. And so then I think it was like 45 minutes or an hour of pushing, right?
Yeah, it was like a little less than an hour of pushing.
Yeah, and then yeah, that was crazy. And people say that like, oh, you'll forget about the pain after, but like I feel like I'll forever remember all 17 hours of the birth. um, definitely not gonna forget that. But despite how painful it really was, in the end, like I would still do it the same way, like, you know, all over again. But yeah, so I was pushing her out, and it was kind of trippy because I could um like feel her come down and then like go back up a little bit and then like push her down more. I remember saying like I'd feel her head was like right there, and I was saying like she's not gonna fit. It just didn't feel like it was gonna open up right for her, but it definitely did. And Josh was right there to catch her, and then he passed her to me, and she like held her head right away, and she's like puckering her lips. It was really cute. But I was just like in another world, like kind of just like out of it. And I held her, and then I remember him coming over trying to like kiss me, and I was just like stunned, kind of just in this other realm for a minute there. um and yeah, then we had Miss Ruby Ray.
Yeah. Do you remember the leg cramps? You were having a lot of leg cramps in your leg.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Sorry to remind you.
Yeah, thanks for that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I had a pretty strong like back labor too, which I know is a little surprising because her positioning wasn't what normal back labor positioning is like. But I have like some slight back issues in my L4 and 5, so I don't know if that's why or what, but I remember like having like really strong back labor. And then I do now remember the cramping. It was like in my thighs, and was it my calves too? Was it the whole leg? I can't remember.
I remember. I remember like rubbing your thighs a lot too. We were giving you lots of magnesium.
Massages.
Yeah, I think it's the thighs. Yeah.
Water like the whole time.
Yeah.
What?
You were drinking coconut water like the whole time.
Yeah, and the whole pregnancy I was drinking electrolytes packets in my water every day, and coconut water every day. I was like definitely hydrated for the whole 9 months. So I don't, and I take like a ton of magnesium. So that was interesting. I don't really know why that happened.
Yeah. What do you remember about your placenta?
I remember just kind of wanting to get it out already. Like, you were saying, like, that it might, you know, come naturally, or I could, like, you know, start trying to push. So I was definitely trying to push it out. And I was like pulling on the umbilical cord at the same time, too. But then I thought I was like ripping, I freaked out for a minute there because I thought I was like ripping the placenta, but it was like a blood clot that came out first, and it was like the size of a baseball. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because when the placenta, the signs we look for the placentas are ready, or usually you have like some sort of separation gush. We see a little like gush of blood. The cord usually goes white and flat, and then you start to get crampy. So when all those three things are happening, rarely ever does it mean the placenta hasn't come out yet. It's usually just like sitting there, and like when people are giving traction, it it can resist your pull as it like is funneling into the vagina, because it has to like fold in on itself a little bit. So you can feel that resistance. But when it's separated and just kind of in there, sometimes blood can pool, and then you will pass like some substantial clots where you're like, oh, it's the placenta, and then we're like, no, it's not, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little weird.
Yeah. How was the rest of the immediate postpartum, and like carrying or just anything else, cutting the cord?
I was really proud of Josh for cutting the cord because he's not that good with like blood and wounds and doctor kind of body stuff. So that was really cool. And then we just laid in bed, blissed out with Ruby that night, and then his daughters came over right away, and that was super special to see them all excited and holding Ruby. And then postpartum was pretty good for me. My best friend came the next day, and she cooked 2 weeks worth of Ayurvedic postpartum yummy soups and stews and warm things to warm the body and help bring blood down to the uterus and the stomach and stuff. So that was really, really special.
When you were saying that you had that kind of support set up, we were like, we wish all of our families could have that. Such a great offering.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was like a career, but that is super helpful, and it's super special. I couldn't imagine not having her there, like Josh was really great with everything and bringing me drinks and cooking and all the things, but I feel like just another women know how to nurture best, and she got all the recipes from this book called The First 40 Days.
I'll
And
in the show notes for anyone who's listening and wants to read it.
Yeah, I loved that book. And then there was another, it's the same author. The other book is called 9 Golden Months. So I read that one during the pregnancy, and that one also has recipes in it.
Right. If you think about it, like the whole baby registry thing, it's like scratch that and just raise funds for a postpartum doula.
Totally. Yeah, I would highly recommend that.
I find really, like most women wish they had planned more for postpartum, that it was harder than they thought it was going to be.
It was. And I even had a bunch of friends, all my friends are having babies on to their second or third, and so I had a lot of like advice, but there's still many things people don't tell you and don't go into detail about and stuff like that. Like I truly couldn't do anything the first week other than like bathroom and bed. So everything was really sore down there, and it felt really wild and crazy. I didn't know what was going on. I remember asking you to like check and make sure things are healing good. And it really helps to have someone, a postpartum doula, too. Like if you're, a real go-getter, busy bee, because you really shouldn't be moving around, and Josh wanted me to really stay put and, have everything healed properly. And I probably, if I didn't have Kai, I probably would have been trying to get up and do more stuff on my own. I remember you came over one day and caught me standing up in the kitchen.
Yeah, you were getting some water. I was like, what are you doing?
I know, I try to like rationalize it. I was like, well, I went to the bathroom. I figured I'd just get some water and do some things on my way back to the bedroom.
And then I think it was later that same appointment where I was like, oh, there was this card I left right here. Where did it go? You're like, oh, I think I threw that away. I was like, so you weren't just getting water, you were tidying up.
Yeah, that was what was that card? It
was her blood typing card. We drew her blood from her placenta and typed her blood, typed her Elden card. Yeah.
Yeah, I was putzing around. I was guilty.
I was like, it's not my pelvic floor, it's yours.
Yeah, Josh heard that and was like, oh no.
Then you got grounded to bed.
A couple times.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's so, I mean, I haven't had any of the depression or anxiety at all in postpartum, so I'm pretty stoked about that. I do remember like, oh, it was like the second week, or I don't remember if it was the first week or second week, but it was like when a lot of hormones were leaving and the new shift of hormones was coming in. I felt really like stoned and like I couldn't like talk really. Like Josh's daughters were here with their boyfriends and visiting with Ruby and we're just hanging out and I just like couldn't even like complete sentences and I would like forget what I was even talking about, you know. It's just funny. I don't know.
There were studies that show, I might butcher this a little bit, correct me if you know, Aly, but that the wavelengths in your brain when you're like pregnant just like slowly drift into, I think it's more like beta mind, where you're less about like cognitive and like where are my keys, and you are more like an intuitive emotional being. So you could like walk into a room and pick up on like the subtleties of like the emotions in the room, more so than you can remember, you know, what 5 + 5 is or where your keys are. And the reason is because you're about to have this baby that doesn't have language, you know, in the sense that, you know, us talking. So that is not as important as you picking up on really subtle emotional cues. So it's like to prepare you for being able to understand your baby basically, and that nothing else really matters, when in our modern world, you know, maybe knowing where your car keys are does matter. But our primitive beings are like, no, 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 you just need to know what your baby's trying to say to you.
I definitely remember reading about that too, which is pretty cool. Like your body and mind go through so many changes and stuff throughout the whole pregnancy and birth, and it's all like for a reason.
Yeah, even if it's convenient or inconvenient, it's for a reason.
Right.
Sometimes knowing the reason behind it can make it like less frustrating, maybe.
Yeah. Your body is like,
how was breastfeeding for you?
it's going good. I did have some struggles. Like Ruby latched on like immediately, but I had issues on the right. Oh no, the left boob. It was just I don't know. Was it week 2 or no? It was the first and second week are like a blur. I can't. It's all blending together, but yeah, she was having trouble latching. Like she was just only getting on the nipple and it was just like, you know, quenching pain. It hurt so bad, but I just you know, sat through it for a day without telling you because I thought like, oh, she's just figuring it out and this is normal, this is how it goes, you know, because I've had friends that told me breastfeeding hurts so bad. But once you told me like it shouldn't hurt at all, you know, we started to take it to the next level and figure out what was going on. And that's when you referred Jen to me, because you didn't think she had a tongue tie, but we wanted to make sure, and you were suggesting maybe she needs some cranial work done, and that was totally it. So I also highly recommend having a chiropractor come to the house to adjust your babies and yourself. Like I remember walking around the house like those first 2 weeks, like with my shoulders totally just like concaved inward. And I thought it was because like I was just like kind of rolling up in like a ball kind of because I was in pain down there. But it was because my ribs had collapsed during the birth. I was just like, I remember Josh said that my hands were like turning blue because I was holding on to that scarf that Aly had around her neck, like so tight, using all my energy to like push, that my hands were going blue, and it just like, traumatized other parts of my body. So getting that first adjustment, I literally felt like a whole new person. It was like amazing. Um, and then Ruby really needed the adjustments because her top vertebrae was shifted to the right a little bit, which is why nursing on the left caused her pain, which is why she wasn't, fully opening up her jaw and getting the whole like areola and nipple in there. She was just sucking on the nipple. And then she had some issues with her palate. It was just not opened all the way. So Jen's been working on that, and pretty immediately after the first adjustment, there was a lot of improvements. And then there was still a couple more days to really get it down more, but that was really, really, really helpful. She didn't have a tongue.
You had some rough nights where she would be up like crying a lot.
Yeah, week 2 was really tough for me for that. I remember thinking like, holy hell, what did I get myself into? Like,
you were even like trying to cut out certain foods, and
yeah, Ruby would be up from like 1 to 5 a.m. crying nonstop, and I would try, all the things you could do to soothe her, and they wouldn't soothe her for more than a couple minutes at a time. And we found out I had been doing no dairy, no gluten already. I normally eat that way, but during pregnancy I didn't because it didn't affect my body like it normally does. But for postpartum, I was already eating that way. But it was the yummy cruciferous vegetables that I was eating, like cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, those kind of things that were giving her gas. But also I believe that she was like gassy because my letdown was so big that she was kind of like gargling and drowning in the getting more air in, like, trying to nurse. So it was a combo of those two things. So week 2 was really, really rough for me. And things leveled out a lot week 3 and just got better and better. I still don't eat those things. I'm like traumatized to even like introduce. I did try green beans and that was fine. Asparagus is not, and I pretty much stopped there. So I'm kind of gonna wait till like maybe when she starts eating solids to kind of eat those things again. I don't know. It's just not worth it for me to deal with the fussy baby.
That's rough. Yeah. And around like almost 2 weeks, your blood pressure was a little bit elevated. Did you want to talk about that at all? It was like typically yours has been like basically like 120 over 70, 80, but it was like 145 over 95. And so we had talked about like hypertension and postpartum preeclampsia, and how was that for you, like monitoring that, and did you feel nervous at all?
Because of that, I had a headache nearly for like 3 or 4 weeks, like straight, give or take, like half a day or a day if I went to a chiro or went and got a massage. So that just, sucked in itself. I wasn't like too worried or anything, but I did want to double check and make sure I didn't have preeclampsia. Once that was ruled out and you told me it was hypertension, and I was, feeling a lot better about it. But I did, you left me the it's not an EKG. What is it? A blood pressure machine. Yeah. yeah, and so I would check my blood pressure every day and, staying hydrated, doing all the things. And it eventually just went down back to normal. So that was good. And
Yeah.
it could have been lack of sleep, you were saying too. That's
Yeah.
all the,
All the
is
things.
that pretty regular for people to get hypertension?
I don't see it very often. No, it kind of like creeped up in the first few weeks with, its height at a little under 2 weeks. And then my notes show that it slowly creeped down, like within a few days, it was, in normal limits. And then kind of back to your normal by 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just the headaches was tough because you're already tired and that just not feeling good. I don't really ever get headaches, so that was a bummer. And then I don't, want to take pills for it or anything. I did take ibuprofen like once or twice, but I pretty much just tried to stick it out and not consume that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're on the other side of everything. Do you have any advice to maybe a first time mom listening or maybe future you?
um advice.
Maybe
Yeah.
anything you might have done differently or something you were glad you did?
Um, I mean, I would just say, don't get too frustrated. I remember there was a couple nights, I got, frustrated with Ruby's crying, and I would pass her to Josh, and then in the bathroom, I just like was like, fuck, this is like crazy. But I definitely didn't show her any of that stress or anything, but just to realize that it's all a learning process and that it's not easy and that it's okay to be like frustrated with your child, like it's just heartbreaking to not be able to like soothe your child, for 5 hours. But that it's not going to last forever. And, just know that you're doing all the things that you could do. So there's not much more that you can do. But that it's short lived and you figure it out. So I guess around that time I was just like, whoa, like is this gonna, I just didn't know if this is how it was gonna be, like if she was like a colic baby or what. But it all just kind of, I just feel like week 2 is like the roughest. And then it kind of just is all uphill from then. Like you both are figuring it out together. And it's a beautiful process.
Yeah. And I'd say too, if people are listening, show new mamas some love after week 2 because everyone wants to come and see the baby and do all that stuff the first couple weeks. And then sometimes it can feel like you're just kind of forgotten about. Like it's old news at that point. And you still are needing a lot of support. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I highly recommend a baby carrier. That was probably the best thing. I've had about 4 of them and only liked 2 of them, but having the carrier to like once you're able to walk around and do stuff, have the baby on you so you can start getting some stuff done. That was the best investment for me.
Yeah. Yeah. We always check in with people. Do you have a car seat? Do you have diapers? Do you have something to wear the baby with? That's all you really need.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on, sharing your story. It was fun to relive it with you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you guys so much and good luck with your next birth.
Thanks. Yeah, somebody we're on call for. We're going to be heading to see her soon. So looking forward
Today.
to it. Yeah.
Nice. All right. We'll see you guys soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA. Sophia at sophiabirth.com.
And me, Leah, at Bay Area Home Birth.
We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always, stay wild.